Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage LRT.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, 2025 NBA playoffs have concluded. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder for winning the finals. And also congratulations to the Phoenix Suns for getting rid of Bradley Beal. I also want to congratulate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for winning the regular season MVP as well as the finals MVP and doing what nobody has done before, that is getting the regular season whistle in the playoffs. Now, before we begin, I want to say a quick little something. You know, the NBA, it's an entertainment business, but these players, these athletes are people too. They're just like us. And, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking. You know, I read that Embiid article. I'll link it down below. That, you know, this organization is not taking their players' health very seriously. And, you know, that's something that, you know, it's a people business is what they're dealing with. And they're not, you know, the Sixers organization. So it's just heartbreaking. I know a lot of organizations aren't like that, but some are, you know. And so our thoughts are with you, Joel Embiid. Also let's have a quick little moment of silence for all those who got hurt. Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, and the rest. And also a little quick moment of silence for Ace Bailey. Nothing's wrong with him. He just got drafted to the Jazz. So, yeah, prayers up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have five categories we're going to be going down here. We're going to be handing out awards for. Those 5 categories include the playoff ploppers, who left steaming logs on the court when they were asked to come upon and perform, but they decided to leave a plop instead. The biggest clutch moment, who had the best clutch moment. The biggest boneheaded moment, who had the biggest boneheaded moment. The bench baddie, who was asked upon by their coach to come off the bench into the games and perform the best. The bench baddie. And finally, the biggest playoff performer, who was the 2025 NBA Playoffs MVP. Let us begin with our first category, the playoff plopper. Now, there are 5 nominees. This includes Kyle Kuzma of the Milwaukee Bucks for his Tony Snell performance, who averaged 5.8 points per game, 34% from the floor, 20% from 3 in 20 minutes of play. Kyle Kuzma, congratulations on your nominee. Our next nominee, Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets, now Phoenix Suns, who averaged a total of 13.3 points per game, 37% from the floor, 29% from 3, in 31 minutes per game. Now you might be like, okay, 13.3 points per game, that's not terrible, which it isn't, but these numbers are heavily swayed by, he had one good game where he dropped 38 points. Other than that, he was laying steaming logs on the court. So that is why Jalen Green is a nominee. Next up, Michael Porter Jr. in the series versus OKC, who averaged 7.4 points per game, shot 32% from the floor, 25% from 3 in 31 minutes of play, and totaled a negative 25 plus minus in one of the games. Michael Porter Jr. Our fourth nominee, that being Kristaps Porzingis in the New York Knicks series. You would have thought he would have took it a little more serious, but maybe when he got his head stomped on, it changed him a little bit. Kristaps in the series averaged 4.2 points per game, 24% from the floor, 22% from 3 in 16 minutes per game, and had a total of negative 24 plus minus. Kristaps Porzingis, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, our fifth and final nominee for playoff flopper, that being Ty Jerome in the series versus the Indiana Pacers, who averaged 8 points per game, 30% from the floor, 25% from 3 in 20 minutes a game, and had the infamous 1-14 game at home. Now, before we reveal our winner, I would like to say 4 out of the 5 guys on this list have either been traded or signed with a different team. Jalen Green, the Suns. Traded to the Suns. Michael Porter Jr. traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Porzingis traded to the Atlanta Hawks. Ty Jerome signed with the Grizzlies. And as a Bucks fan, I am counting the days and checking my phone every 5 minutes looking for a Shams tweet saying that Kyle Kuzma has been traded. Now with that out of the way, we are going to find out the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Your winner for the 2025 NBA Biggest Playoff Plopper is Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets. Congratulations, Jalen Green, on your nominee of your award. The award will be in the mail soon, so look for it. Congratulations. Moving on, we have our next category. The clutch performance. The biggest clutch moment of the 2025 playoffs. Now, I'm sure when you think of clutch moments of the 2025 playoffs, one player comes to mind, and that is our first nominee, Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers, for his game winner versus the Cavs.
To do a much better job of getting open.
Misses. Halliburton, the rebound. 9 seconds. They do have a timeout. Carlisle's going to let him play. Halliburton steps back and hits.
Versus the Knicks.
Halliburton. He'll take it. He'll backpedal a three for the win. And goal! He got it!
And versus the Thunder.
Gilgeous-Alexander spins, pulls up, jumper. Off the mark, won't go. Rebound, Neesmith. The Pacers with a chance to win it. Final seconds, no fouls to give. Halliburton looking. Halliburton driving, pulls up, jump shot. It's good! It's good! With 0.3 of a second remaining. Timeout, OKC. Tyrese Halliburton does it again!
Our next nominee, Aaron Neesmith of the Indiana Pacers, who in the same New York Knicks game, game 1 of the Pacers versus the Knicks, hit 6 threes in a span of about 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Neesmith hits the three.
And also, if you would have told me with Brunson, another three by Neesmith, that's the great equalizer in our game.
Halliburton with 27 the other way with a screen from Shepherd. He'll roll and he'll find the defensive part. Neesmith three, good! Got it! On him one-on-one.
And I'm surprised they don't have Miles Turner, the rim protector, on the floor as well.
Neesmith three, good! Another one from outside. Neesmith again, three, got it! He's a flamethrower! 5-point game, timeout, take it.
I don't know what the controversy there was.
Neesmith, it's a three. It's a 2-point game.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
a 2-point game with 22 seconds to go.
Gary Trent Jr. of the Milwaukee Bucks for hitting 8 threes in a combined fourth and overtime quarter. Ultimately, they ended up losing the game due to Gary Trent, but we'll get to that later.
Giannis backing in. Into a double. Clock down. Trent with the relief. 1-point game. Scoop shot. Too strong. Giannis into the front court. Trent to tie it. And he does. Another second half tie. Week in franchise history. Their last road win on the playoff scene as Gary Trent Jr. connects. Got clock at 5. Porter trying to create space. Clock down, it's Trent, and he buries it.
That was the Giannis effect there. He saw Giannis. He wanted to get Giannis in the pick and roll to take away his ability to help defend as Gary Trent Jr. delivers another triple here.
Trent, he'll fire it. Oh, he's on fire.
Is he feeling it?
Pacers have already taken 8 shots here in overtime. They're 1 for 8. Gary Trent Jr. just gonna will the pucks.
Trent, the three. Oh, it continues. He's got a dozen in overtime.
And finally, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets for his performance in Game 5 versus the Thunder, who just hit every single shot. I mean, look at this shot right now he hit.
Break away from Holmgren. Murray. Kick it out. Jokic. 7 to shoot. His team is down by 3. Pirouette. Tosses it up. Oh! Joker's wild! We are tied at 103.
Without further ado, we have our winner. Let us reveal. And your 2025 NBA Playoffs MVP for clutch moment, not MVP, clutch moment player is from the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. Congratulations, Tyrese, on winning the Clutch Moment Award. Congratulations. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next category, that being the biggest boneheaded moment of the 2025 NBA playoffs. Our first nominee is of the Milwaukee Bucks, Gary Trent Jr., for not only turning over the ball once, but twice in the Game 5 defeat in overtime to the Indiana Pacers.
Gary showed up. The steal. To Green. Trent with it, and he loses it on a brilliant night.
Our next nominee from the Indiana Pacers, TJ McConnell, for not only having 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, but 7 turnovers in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And our final nominee is the refs in the Pistons versus Knicks game, where Tim Hardaway Jr. clearly got fouled on a 3, but they missed it.
For a block, Duran could get an opportunity to get a putback.
Cunningham driving, pull-up jumper, no good. Harris battling, loose ball on the floor. Picked up, Hardaway, 2 seconds left, puts up the shot, no! And the game is over! J.B. Bickerstaff is on the floor irate. He thought there should have been a foul called on the Hardaway shot. Call on Josh Hart here against Hardaway.
Good up fake, I think. There's contact on Tim Hardaway's right side.
And ladies and gentlemen, your winner is here. Who owned the biggest boneheaded moment? There's a lot of boneheads out there in the NBA world. And in the real world too. Including myself. Alright, your biggest bonehead of the 2025 NBA playoffs is the Milwaukee Bucks, Gary Trent Jr. Congratulations, Gary, on your award for biggest boneheaded moment for not only turning over the ball once in the clutch, but twice. Slippery hands. Maybe you need a towel to wipe that sweat off, but it is what it is. Congratulations on your award. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our penultimate category, that being the biggest bench baddie. Our nominees are TJ McConnell of the Indiana Pacers for his 17.5 minutes per game, 3 boards, and 4 assists a game. Not only was he performing statistics-wise, he was also helping his team with momentum. That's a huge thing that a lot of people don't bring into consideration. Guys who can get the crowd into the game and shift momentum for their team is very valuable players and players that every single team needs. Our next nominee, similarly from the same team, Obi Toppin, who was the 3rd highest points per game scorer on the Pacers in the playoffs. That is just insane when you think about they had guys like Miles Turner, they had guys like Andrew Nembhard, they had guys like Aaron Nesmith, TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, but you got Obi Toppin coming in off the bench being your 3rd highest points per game scorer. Congratulations on your nominee, Obi Toppin. And our 3rd and final nominee for bench baddie, from the Golden State Warriors, Jonathan Kuminga, who was not only a factor off the bench for the Warriors, but really stepped up in Steph Curry's injury absence. And he had games of 18, 30, 23, and 26 off the bench. Now, I will say there is an exception to Jonathan Kuminga. He didn't really show up in the 4th quarter of any of the games. But without further ado, we have our winner for the 2025 NBA playoffs bench baddie. And that man is, from the Indiana Pacers, TJ McConnell. Congratulations, TJ, on being the most impactful player off the bench in the 2025 NBA playoffs, according to me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our 5th and final category. Who was the biggest playoff performer, the NBA 2025 playoffs MVP? Our nominees are Tyrese Halliburton for his 17.3 points per game, 5.3 boards, and 8.6 assists. Now, he did go out there and shoot 2 or 8s, but you cannot argue he was not the most impactful and clutch player in the playoffs. Our next nominee, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder for his 29.9 points per game, 5.3 boards, 6.5 assists, 1 Finals MVP, won the thing for his team. Congratulations, Shai, on your nominee. A third and final nominee for playoff MVP is from the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson for his 29.4 points per game, 3.4 boards, 7 assists a game. Did it all for his team. When they needed him, he showed up. Now, the rest can't be said for the others on the team, but it is what it is. And Jalen Brunson, congratulations on your nominee. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who wants me to read the winner? All right, your 2025 NBA playoff MVP, according to me, is Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers. Congratulations, Tyrese, on winning the 2025 NBA MVP. He just edged it out over SGA. Now, a lot of you at home may be like, oh, why didn't SGA win it? You know, SGA won Finals MVP. He won the title for his team. I'm sure a lot of you agree with me, but when you look at the 2025 NBA playoffs, the first thing that comes to mind is Tyrese Halliburton and all of his game winners. And for that reason, I voted him MVP of the playoffs. He made the playoffs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you had different nominees, who got snubbed out of the awards, who won and who didn't win. Also, let me know if, you got categories in mind for next year's. This is going to be an annual thing. I'm going to do this probably till I die every single year. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and peace.